Hello, cherished viewers. Thank you for joining us today. It is another exciting Education USA information session. And guess what? Today we have a very special offer for you. But before I tell you what package we have, my name is Rafia Tulawal, and I am one of the Education USA advisors in Ghana. For our first time viewers, Education USA is a Department of State network of over 400 advising centers across the globe in about 175 countries. And basically, what we do is promote US higher education. So if you are watching us and you have dreams of studying in the USA, then you are in the right place. Yes. So today, I'll tell you a bit about our centers. So Education USA prepares you through the process. We enable you or we help you from scratch, from finding a school to the application process itself and to even leaving the country. So the entire process, we support you with that. Education USA has two centers in Ghana, one in Accra, which is in the US Embassy, where we have two advisors, myself and Mrs. Afoti. And then we have another center in Kumasi at AC Consult, to be precise, is in Asokwa. So we also have two advisors in Kumasi. We have Mrs. Owusu and Miss Margaret, who are the advisors. Today, I'm joined with my colleagues who are supporting to make the session a better one. All right, so today we have three powerful women with us from University of Tulsa. They are going to be telling us about opportunities that we have in their university. And I call this a special package today because it's not just about the normal sessions we do have, or opportunities we do have, but we are going to learn more about how we can acquire a degree from the US in the comfort of our own homes. Yes, you heard me right, in the comfort of our homes. So we would like to know where you are reaching us from. If you have questions, please do not hesitate to type in the comment section. We would have a Q&A section where we would give answers to all your questions. So I would introduce my panelists. I have with me Miss Margie Tanner, who is the admission counselor for undergraduate students at University of Tulsa. So if you have interest in studying any undergraduate program, please stay tuned or glued to your seat and hear more about what University of Tulsa has to offer you. We also have with us our own mother, Dr. Mrs. Brooker. Yes, she is actually the executive director of online or for online learning at the University of Tulsa. So she's going to tell us everything we need to know about how to get an accredited degree or certificate from the University of Tulsa at the comfort of our homes with no struggles at all to get a visa. We all know how difficult it has become getting a visa to study abroad. So it's going to be much easier for you and I. In fact, I'm so excited because this is something I am personally interested in. And also we have with us Dr. Parker, who used to be the director of graduate admissions, but now she's the assistant dean for graduate studies. So that tells us that we have all packages. So we have undergraduates, we have graduates, and we can equally acquire those graduate and undergraduate programs online. And that is why we have Mrs. Dr. Brooker with us. So without much to say, I'm going to hand over to our panelists. I'll start with Miss Margie. She will tell us more about herself and what she do and what opportunities we have. Thank you, and over to Miss Margie.
Hello. Okay, is the presentation going? Okay. Good morning, or afternoon for you all. My name is Margie Tanner. I am the admission counselor for all international students here at the University of Tulsa in undergraduate programs. So we are going to go to this slide. If you would like to know more, about undergraduate admission at the University of Tulsa, please use this link or scan the QR code on your screen to fill out a form to learn more about what we have to offer. My favorite part about my job is getting to learn about new cultures and countries through my work with students. But today I want to tell you a little bit about TU, and hopefully you can tell me about yourself later. Let's see. So we have about 3,000 undergraduate students at the University of Tulsa. And we cannot see the slides, so we're going to come back to that here in a moment. But I'll just keep going. Our average undergraduate class size is about 13 students, and our student to faculty ratio is 11:1. Our freshman class for 2021 was 488 students. We are looking at about 800 students this fall for our freshman class. So numbers have really gone up, but we are still maintaining that small class size. So students really get to have an intimate experience with their professors and their peers, and learn at that smaller class size to be able to, understand things on a deeper level, and of course, build those relationships that will last a lifetime. Are we able to see the slides yet? Okay, great. Awesome. So for the admission process to the University of Tulsa, we require our international students to submit an application to TU. Of course, we also accept the Common App. Now, our application for fall 2023 and spring 2023 will be live no later than next Monday. So if you are interested in applying, you can get a head start on that. Another thing, of course, we require is copies of your transcripts from all secondary or high school study. And if you are a transfer student, we need to see your university level transcripts as well. We do require a document by document evaluation of official transcripts to verify their validity. We do recommend the use of WES or Spantran. And if you reach out to me, I can get you a discount link for Spantran. If neither of those services work for you, we also have a list that you can find on our website of services that we approve. If you are taking the IGCSE, I can never get that acronym in the right order, the A-levels or the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, or AP courses, those results will also be needed. And for citizens of Ghana, we don't require evidence of English language proficiency, but I did want to hit on this in case there's anybody who is a citizen from another country watching us today. We will probably need evidence of your English language proficiency. And you can visit our website for a little bit more of information there. And we could go to the next slide. Okay, some of our most popular programs are, of course, our engineering. I wanted to highlight that first. We offer mechanical, biomedical, petroleum, computer engineering, electrical engineering. I'm sure I'm missing some, but I couldn't list all 100 majors on this slide. Some of our other popular programs are our computer science. Cybersecurity is a new program that we have too. That one is really gaining a lot of attention in the past couple of years. We were the first U.S. school, I believe, to offer cybersecurity in a degree-seeking major program. So that's pretty exciting. If you're more interested in the liberal arts, we have psychology, anthropology. We have different languages for majors. There's a lot of opportunities there. We have a College of Business where there are a couple of different majors you can choose from if you're looking to study business. We offer accounting, business analytics, international business and language, which is probably one of my favorite programs to talk about. For those of you, if you're looking to study in the US, coming from an international background, I feel like if you're interested in business, the International Business and Language Program is an excellent option because you're already coming at things from an international perspective, but you have the opportunity to widen that perspective and study abroad and learn even another language and about another culture that will really help to set you apart in the job market. Another popular, a couple more popular programs that I wanted to talk about are energy management and pre-med. We have a lot of students who study biological sciences, bioengineering. We also have the College of Health Sciences, where we have our School of Nursing, and we have the sports medicine majors. So there's a lot going on in all of our different colleges, and our College of Health Sciences is probably one of our, I would say, most exciting colleges because there's a lot of hands-on learning there. So it really depends on what you're interested in, but like I said, we have over 100 unique academic programs to choose from. That includes majors and minors, and that's just for undergrad. Ginny, my colleague, will talk in a moment about the opportunities in graduate school, but just alone, we have quite a lot of opportunities in undergraduate. Okay, so I wanted to hit on tuition and scholarships. For fall 22, our tuition was $45,566. We don't have a separate set tuition amount for students from other countries or other states. We charge the same amount of tuition. However, we do have scholarships for students that range for international students from $2,000 to $15,000. That does change every year, so I don't have the new numbers for the upcoming year, but if you reach out to me, I am happy to get you that information later. Housing and food combined is on average an estimate of $12,766. The one difference in tuition for international students is a $360 international student fee per year. Now, many schools have an entirely different tuition rate altogether. So one thing that I think is really cool is that we charge the same for everyone. And it just kind of depends on what sort of scholarship funding you receive. So that's a little bit about that. And we'll go over to Dr. Brooker to talk about online programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Margie. Over to Dr. Brooker.
Thank you, everyone. I am so happy and honored to be here today. In case no one knows, Ghana has a special place in my heart, as I have very dear people who live and serve there in the embassy. I am even wearing my special necklace brought to me from Ghana today to honor it. And so I'm really happy to be here. I've been in higher ed for almost 2 decades. It almost sounds weird for me to even say that. And it's almost always been focused on the adult learner and the online or other type of settings besides the student who wants to come and live on campus. So I'm here to talk about other options so that you can stay at home and still study and work. So we have currently one fully online program that I want to focus on. We have a couple of others. If you want to go to the next slide, Jenny, our really major online program at this time is our Master's of Science in Cybersecurity. You heard Margie mention that there's an undergraduate program in cybersecurity. We also have a graduate program that is totally online. And we also have a PhD program now in cybersecurity. So it offers an opportunity to move all the way through the gamut of advancing your degree and your knowledge in this field of study. One of the things that is really exciting about this program are some of the other things that we are beginning to grow. We also do have a master's in energy business that is also an online program. It is run out of the College of Business. And we are starting to expand some of our other programs. So keep in mind that while this is the one we're going to focus on in the near future, if you're interested in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the University of Tulsa here in Oklahoma, and a quality degree that you can do from your home, we're looking at things in education, technology management, health programs, all kinds of options. So let's move on to our master's in cybersecurity. It does use what we call a flipped classroom model because there is a lot of skills that are built into some of the labs and some of the work that you do in cybersecurity. They do like hacking projects where they all try to hack into something and see who can do it first, and all those kinds of fun things that sometimes they talk about things I don't understand, but it's exciting to hear them talk about it. So you do all your classwork through the online portal, what we call an LMS. You do all your work, and then once a week they come together all together with the instructor, and they do these labs where they have projects. It gives you an opportunity to actually interact with your fellow students and your professors, just like we're interacting together right now. And it's been a highly, highly popular approach to how we run this online program. We've already discussed the time difference that you guys are at. Ghana is 5 hours right now ahead of us. And our faculty are highly willing to do whatever they can to make that accessible for the students, no matter where they are. I can't say enough about how dedicated they are to serving the students. So moving to the next slide. Is this program for me? There are three groups of people that are interested in this program. One are the people that I'm not in that field right now. I have an undergraduate degree, but I really like to move up and maybe gain entrance into the world of cybersecurity. So that's an option for those people that are seeking entrance into the field. Then there is the group that may be already working in the field, but they want to take on some leadership roles. They want to move up in their position at maybe their business or wherever they work. So they want to have that advanced degree in order to take on those leadership roles. And then the third group of students that are interested in this program are the ones that want to increase their technical skills. They already have some of the skills. They just want to take them to the next level. They want to have more advanced skills and know how to do more varied things for their businesses or whatever they're doing, whether it's about security, whether it's about how to set up the protocols within a company, all of those things that go with being a part of this very exciting and high demand field. So moving to the next slide. One of the things that you will find is that you'll be able to actually have a comprehensive understanding of the foundational concepts. So if you're one of those people coming in new, you're going to find out what it's all about, as well as be able to demonstrate all the professional skills, improve on your organization's standing in the cybersecurity field, and also be able to think about it in a bigger theoretical concept. Next slide. This program is 30 units. It is a totally self-paced program. If you go through it in a steady order, you would be done in 5 semesters. The one difference in this online program, as opposed to some of the other programs at the university, is that you can enter in the fall, you can enter in the spring, and you can enter in the summer. So in fact, if you are interested in this program and you want to find out about applying and what would be available, is some scholarship money available, then you could apply now with the possibility of starting classes in January, in the spring of 23 semester. So we run those on a constant basis so that people can come in and move through the program. It's also one of the few programs in the nation that is designated as a center of academic excellence. You notice that at the bottom of this list. There are very few schools in the country that have been had this designation. So it's something we're very proud of. So next slide. These are just some of the potential cybersecurity jobs that people take on. And it also lists some of the salaries that are the averages for these kinds of positions. You notice it starts with a security analyst that would make $72,000 a year and goes all the way up to whatever could be termed an information security manager that makes well over $100,000 a year. And we do know of many people that make as much as $200,000 a year in this job. market. So it's something, if I had had a crystal ball when I was coming out of college going to college a long time ago, I might have considered this, but I'm a social scientist, so probably not. Moving to the next slide. So to get into this program, you just need a bachelor's degree from any institution. We know what it means to be from the international institution, and we do the equivalency, so that's not an issue. It is kind of recommended that you have some sort of IT background, but it is not required. And I want to emphasize that, because that is what a lot of people say is, do I have to have a computer science degree, or do I have to have a degree in IT of some sort? It is not required. You may, however, be asked to do a proficiency through some sort of class that is a very low cost, shows that you can handle whatever you'll be doing in the class. And that all depends on what your background is. Those are always a case-by-case basis. And so those are the primary things I think that are important to know about being able to come into this program. I think that's the last slide for me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brooker. All right, so have our last presentation from Dr. Parker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Parker, and I work with graduate students specifically. And so I work a lot with Dr. Brooker to make sure that everyone is getting into the programs that they would like to get into, and make sure that that's a seamless transition from applicant to student. For my programs, we are pretty well ranked in terms of some of our programs. So our petroleum engineering program that I'll talk to you about a little bit later is very well ranked, but we are very, with about 3,000 universities in the US, we're in the top 200. So the graduate programs are very highly respected in their fields. And even though we are a small school, we do have worldwide recognition. As Margie was saying, we do have a pretty small school. So our student to faculty ratio is 9:1. So that means that if you're interested in doing research of any sort, or you just want to make those contacts that will get you a job or some more experience in the field, you will have the opportunity to do that and work very, very closely with your professors. We do have over 20, I believe we have about 25 graduate programs. And then some of those programs will have master's degrees, some of them will have PhD programs. And I will kind of go into a little more detail about that in a few slides. We didn't really talk too much about Tulsa, Oklahoma, but this is where we live. We are in the center of the country toward the south. We are a city of about 1 million people. So I think we're comparable to Accra. We might be a little bigger than Accra, I'm not sure. Or is Accra bigger than me? You tell me, Rafiatu. Is it bigger?
Well, I don't think it's bigger. Your city is bigger than Accra.
Okay, perfect. So
yeah,
we are a bit bigger than Accra. We are close to another very large city in the US called Dallas, Texas. And that is an international hub. So if students are thinking of flying in internationally, they will either fly into Dallas or Houston. And those two cities, Houston is the second largest metro population in the US. So it's quite a large place. The biggest industry that we have in our city right now is oil and gas. So obviously our petroleum engineering program is very strong, but we are diversifying into technology and healthcare and things like that. So as Margie was saying, health sciences are an exciting place to be right now as well. And we're one of the most diverse cities in the US. So you'll see people from all over the place, all colors, all creeds, everything like that. So that's always, it's fun for me, so I can see people and meet people from all over the world. And so you will be very welcome here. And as I said, it's just a 4-hour drive to this very large metro area. Okay. So 93% of our graduates are working now or going on to further education. The starting salary for our graduate program graduates is $68,000. The mid-career salary point is about $105,000 per year. Now, this does take into account everything that we have to offer from a master's in English language to our doctorate in petroleum engineering and or cybersecurity. So the average is actually pretty strong for our graduate students coming out of the university. And you can see here, these are some of our popular programs. I am actually now in the business school, and so our business administration program is very popular. We do have a cohort program as well as a more flexible option. The cohort program does not require that you have any prior experience, so that's kind of nice. If it's something that you are looking to switch gears and things like that, you can certainly go in through our cohort program, and it would be a full-time on-campus program. Our business analytics is also one of our more popular programs. Business analytics at TU is STEM certified, which means that when you're finished with your studies, you are able to work in the United States for at least 1 year. All STEM students can apply for another 2 years of extension. So you could, with this degree, work in the United States for up to 3 years after you graduate. And that's a very attractive option for a lot of our students that are looking to gain experience here in the United States. As Margie was saying, we are pretty engineering heavy. So we have our electrical, we have computer engineering, we have mechanical engineering, petroleum engineering I mentioned is very popular here as well. We also have a computer science program, and we do have a cyber studies PhD, and that one is a hybrid course. So you could do that more in person if you would like to, or you could also do it online. You just need to speak with the faculty about that and figure out how to do that. For arts and sciences and humanities, we have anthropology as a popular program for us. And we do have clinical as well as industrial and organizational psychology. And English language and literature. We also have a health sciences program. A lot of them are going to be doctors of nursing practice, and you would need to be certified to be a nurse in the United States. So that's a little bit more limiting in terms of what we can offer international students. But we do also have a athletic training master's degree program that's very strong and works with all of our collegiate athletes as well as within the community. So if you're interested in something like that, it's a really strong program for us. Our application requirements are an application fee. We do require bachelor's degree transcripts. If you're applying for a master's degree, usually you don't need a master's, but it is helpful for a PhD to have a master's degree. Regardless, whatever you have that's higher education, you should be sending that to the university with your application. 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. These are going to be letters from your coworkers, your employers, your professors. They should be academic or work related. So no family members, no friends, nothing like that. We do want it to be somebody who can speak to your abilities in terms of the workplace or education. Your resume, we do want to see what you have been up to for these years that you have been out of university, if you have been out of university. Some of our programs require a GRE. EducationUSA has a really great understanding of the standardized tests that are required in the United States, and usually they can help you figure out where to take it, how to study for it. So please make sure that you're using your EducationUSA resources for that sort of thing. As Margie was saying, Ghana is exempt from our English language proficiency requirements. So you will not have to worry about that. But if you are from another country where English is not the primary first language, then you may need to also submit some proof of English language proficiency. Statement of purpose for most of our programs is also required, which is just you telling us why you think this would be a good fit for you and how you plan to use the degree that you're hoping to earn. Our cost of attendance is about, so our I-20 number, as we like to say, is about 48,000, 49,000. This does include tuition, student fees, and estimated living expenses and things like that. If you plan to bring children or a spouse, this will be slightly higher per child and or per spouse. So you'll need to make sure that you're budgeting for that. That international student fee does go toward our Office of Global Education, our Center for Global Education, and they are the ones who will process and help you with your I-20s and all of your visa information. Our deadlines are going to be February 1st for the fall. Early decision is January 22nd. Now, clinical and industrial organizational psychology have some earlier deadlines. So if you are planning to apply for those, you'll want to make sure that you're planning well in advance. I did want to touch on that we do have some funding available for all students. We have merit awards for many of our programs, that can be from 5 to 75% of tuition coverage. And then we also have assistantships, research assistantships, departmental assistantships. So if you're interested in doing research, you'll want to make sure that you're in touch with the department, find a professor that's doing the research you're interested in, and work out some information about how to get an assistantship. PhDs are eligible for full funding, as are master's degrees. So depending on the research that you're going to do, also depends on how much funding can be available for those students. So that is that. And then here is the information, as we were saying, this top link is for undergraduate students. So if you are interested in one of the undergraduate programs Margie was talking about, you can register with this link and you can kind of talk to her about it and see what might be a good fit for you. And then at this bottom link is going to be for graduate students. And so if you are interested in any of the graduate programs that myself or Dr. Brooker mentioned, please feel free to go in here and fill out this form. And somebody will be in touch with you very, very shortly to help you through the application process. And I think that was it for me. We're done a little bit early, I think, but that just leaves some more time for some questions and answers. So we're just going to wait for. Does anybody have anything to add to their information? Oh, there's Rafi. There you go.
All right. So thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation from all our presenters. We have many questions coming in from both Facebook and also our WhatsApp groups. So let me start with this one. Does the University of Tulsa offer application fee waivers? If yes, at what degree level?
So I can answer that for the graduate school. We do not typically offer graduate fee application fee waivers. At the graduate level, we also do not charge a deposit. So we tend to get the funding for the office so that you guys, I can go to work and get paid. That comes through your application fees. And so the processing of your application is directly funded by the application fee. But the deposit is not required, so you will not need to submit that should you want to enroll at TU. And I know it's a little bit different for Margie at the undergraduate level.
All right. Margie, do you have something to add up?
I thought I had unmuted, but I didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
The undergraduate application is typically a $50 fee, but for international students, we have that waived for the time being. All students are don't have the requirement to pay the application fee up until November 2nd, I believe. But for international students, because we do require some extra pieces of information and documentation, we do realize that that can be a financial strain. So we have eliminated our application fee for international students for the time being.
Okay, so they don't need to apply for a waiver. It's automatic. As long as you are international, you qualify for that.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much. So talking about funds, another student wants to find out who qualifies for a scholarship. And they also want to know if we have any assistantships.
Yes. So at the graduate level, students qualify for scholarships a few different ways. One is through merit. So if your test scores, your grades, and your application itself is very strong, you can get a percentage of your tuition covered. And again, that goes from 5% to 75%. Some of our programs are capped at 10, 15%. It just really depends on the program to which you're applying. But those are merit-based, and everybody is eligible for those that are applying to any of our non-health sciences programs. So if you're applying for health science, they have a different process for their scholarships, but most of our programs will be eligible for some sort of merit award. There are definitely assistantships, so you can apply and get into an assistantship if you are interested in doing particular research and you work with a professor and they wish to fund your studies while you're here in the US. They can either give you a portion of the tuition or they can give you full tuition and a stipend to live. There is also what's called departmental assistantships, and actually our newest departmental assistantship in the graduate school is, his name is Felix, and he is from Accra. So we do have a Ghanaian student that will be joining us on a full scholarship to work in our office and help us out with the application process. So it is possible that it is happening for some of our students at the graduate level. And again, it just depends on the program, the amount of funding that program has, and the research that you hope to do. And then Margie can talk a little bit about what you need to do at the undergraduate level.
Okay.
So for the undergraduate level, we don't offer assistantships, but we do have on-campus jobs available for students. As a student on an F1 visa or J1 visa, you're not allowed to work outside of campus, but we do have plenty of on-campus jobs for students. For scholarships, we do have a holistic review. We are looking at students' GPA as well as any advanced curriculum, high school coursework that you did, your ACT or SAT scores, if you have them. We are test optional, but those could be helpful for you in determining a scholarship amount. So if you are a great test taker, make sure to send those to us. And your letters of recommendation, writing samples, and just any academic accomplishments. We also want to see students who are high achieving outside of the classroom. One of our highest scholarship amount opportunity is our presidential scholarship, and international students are eligible to apply for that scholarship. It is a very selective process. Last year and in previous years, the minimum requirement was a 4.0 GPA just to be eligible to apply. I don't know if that's changing this year or not, but we are looking for that top of the line academic achievement, as well as involvement in your community and involvement in extracurricular activities. But that scholarship does cover full tuition. So all of the tuition charges would be waived if you were a recipient of our presidential scholarship. The deadline to apply for that, I believe, is going to be January. They're changing some things this year, but I believe, no, it's February 1st this year. So we will be wanting to start on those applications as soon as we can, if you are interested in applying to the presidential scholarship. But I'm happy to field any questions about that. You can reach out to me via email. We'll give our contact information later, I'm sure, or schedule a meeting with me and we can talk further about anything admission wise, but specifically about that when we have more details.
Thank you so much. So I have a follow-up question which goes to Dr. Brooker. a student wants to find out the cost for studying online and if you qualify to also apply for a scholarship if you opt to study online.
Yes. When Jenny mentioned the graduate school needs-based scholarships, those also apply for our online students. The tuition is the same. There are not the fees associated with online. They are not required to pay all the fees that the students who come to campus are required to pay. So it does reduce the cost somewhat to be online. And then they are still eligible for those merit-based scholarships that she mentioned that range anywhere from, 10% and up, depending on all of your grades, your work experience, and some of those pieces that increases the possibility of scholarship amount.
Thank you very much. So I have another question. I think we have time for questions, Q&A. So how diverse is the student population at your campus?
I would say I can speak to that a little bit. We have students from many different nations. For fall 2021, I had about 21 new enrollees from various countries. But for this fall, we are expecting students from more and more countries, and we've doubled that number. So I think the official number is, 43 countries and 49 states. We have representatives, I have to say representatives of nations from all over the world. Many of our student athletes are international students, as well as our non-student athlete students. But Jenny, I would say there's a lot of graduate interest in our international student body. So Jenny, maybe you can speak more specifically about the students in the graduate programs.
Yes, I think at the graduate level, we have something like 70 countries represented. And so we have students from all over, including all over Africa. We have students from Ghana, Nigeria, the Gambia we have. So even the smaller West African countries we have represented here on campus, as well as your, students from Asia and South America and things like that. So we do run the gamut. In terms of race and ethnicity, we do have a relatively diverse population there. We have students from Native American backgrounds, as well as African American and Hispanic backgrounds as well in the campus. I don't have numbers for that off the top of my head, but I would say that the master's and PhD programs can be relatively diverse, but it also depends on what you plan to study. So some programs are more diverse than others for whatever reason. But yes, so there's quite a few representations of different thoughts and perspectives here at TU.
And if I could just add to that a little bit, as someone who grew up in Northeast Oklahoma, this is my home country, so to speak. This is where I grew up. And I grew up as what Benny would say was a minority, because we are, as Jenny mentioned, a heavy population of Native Americans and Hispanic we have a very diverse population on campus, but also the university itself has really focused on the importance of that. We have a whole office of diversity with a vice president. They're in the process of launching a number of different types of diversity and inclusion kinds of programs on campus. But we also just added a new vice president for global engagement, because the internationalization and the importance of that diverse and very wide varying experience for all of our students is a very important piece of the university's strategy and vision.
All right, I think we got that answered so well. Would also like to find out from a student, how easy is it to get an internship opportunity on your campus? So how are students able to get internships? Is it something that you encourage a lot?
Jenny, do you want to go, or?
You can go first, Margie.
Our Office of Career Services is very helpful. So we already had a 93% job placement rate for our undergraduate students, meaning those students that reported back to us within 6 months of graduation, 93% of them were either in a graduate program or in a job in their field. So we saw that number and decided we could probably get that up to 100% with a little bit more of a push. So our career service department really does work. Yes, and that is our job guarantee, our job placement guarantee program is what I'm talking about. So our career services department does really make an effort to guide students throughout their time at TU, whether you're a freshman, you're going to want to get started on that. But say you weren't paying attention too much in your freshman year to internships, they're certainly there to be a resource for you later on down the line as well. And all graduates have access to the career services department as well. We have a lot of relationships with some Fortune 500 companies and local companies where students can intern at, and international students are able to do unpaid internships as well. So we have a lot of opportunities through those connections that we have. But yeah, I would say our career services department is extremely helpful with that. Jenny, if you want to speak a little more on that.
Sure. At the graduate level, it really depends on the program. So for the MBA program, there is an internship available. That can get somewhat complicated depending on your visa status. So there's something called curricular practical training that you would need to apply for and be approved for in order to do an internship while you're studying. But it is possible to do. And then, as I said, there is research available on campus, which you would not need to apply for any sort of visa alteration for that. And then the wonderful thing about both the grad and the undergraduate is because we are so small, you will be making connections and getting involved in the disciplines that your professors are interested in. And many students have made connections through the professors that they are taking courses from. And then again, as Margie said, our career services does serve both our graduate and undergraduate populations. And sometimes at schools, it can really focus more on the undergraduate. I will say that we do take pride in helping our graduate students also achieve their goals after they graduate and also during their time here.
Wow, this is really exciting. So wherever you are reaching us from, University of Tulsa is saying that you don't just get to study on campus alone, you also have opportunities, internship opportunities where you can learn from. So it's practical knowledge. This means that we have a very big opportunity. Let's take advantage of this and acquire a very good certificate from University of Tulsa. I'll take two more questions and then we can end the day. So I have another question here. How important is the SOP to applications?
So at the graduate level, the statement of purpose is important. In some ways, it is one of the most important pieces of your application at the graduate level, because that's where you're going to tell our faculty what it is that you hope to do with the degree that you're earning. When you do that, the faculty can see whether or not they feel that they can help you get to where you want to go and achieve your goals. So for example, if you are hoping to do something in one of the fields that we offer, but is not something that is supported by the faculty or is just in a very different direction, then we may not be able to admit you to the program because we don't have anybody for you to work with at the PhD level, especially. So it is important that you do your research at any of the graduate or PhD level programs, that you're looking for professors and faculty that are working in the field or close to the field that you're hoping to someday become employed. So if oil and gas is something that you're interested in, and or if it's something like fluid mechanics, or if it's cybersecurity, but you want to focus on big data or things like that, do your research and find the professors that are doing the work that you're interested in, and that's going to be very helpful for your statement of purpose. It also, if you are competing for a spot at the graduate, and I would say at the undergraduate level too, and I'll let Margie weigh in, but if you're competing for a spot and your statement of purpose is well written and clearly states what it is you hope to do, it can give you a little bit of a boost over someone who may not have paid as much attention or given as much thought to their statement of purpose that you might have.
So,
Margie?
so while it's not a requirement for the application at this point, a personal statement or statement of purpose at the undergraduate level is highly encouraged. This year, we are really going to be looking for that extra, like Jenny said, that boost. Someone who is highly interested in the University of Tulsa and highly motivated to attending our school specifically. So we do want to see, what your plans are, who you are, how you see yourself fitting into the TU community as well. So I would highly encourage you to include a personal statement in your application.
All right, thank you so much. So we are all encouraged to come out with a very strong personal statement or essay. When you're writing, make sure that you put in a lot of effort and let it come out standing tall. There are thousands of students or millions of students who apply to these institutions. What will make your application different? Why will they offer you an admission? You have to make sure that in your statement of purpose or your essays, you put in more effort. All right, so our last question for the day: what can make up for a low GPA in the application process?
So as Margie will tell you, and I will tell you as well, we do look at you holistically in the United States, which is something that is attractive about our university admissions process. If your GPA is very, 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 very low, very, very low, you may want to consider taking some courses to bring that GPA up, because it is a large factor in what we will be looking for. And especially if you need merit assistance, or you want to have an assistantship, or you need financial help, your GPA is an important piece of your application process. That said, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a really strong statement of purpose, or if your test scores are very strong, or you have a lot of really targeted, really great work experience, then we can perhaps look at that. But I will say that we are looking for students that are going to be successful, right? So we want you to come here and have a really great experience where you're not stressed out all the time and failing your courses and things like that. And the best way we can really ascertain how well you can do is how well you have done before. So please make sure that, like I said, if you're struggling in some areas that you know are going to be important for that particular program, you may want to go back and take a couple of courses. And then you can also beef up the other areas of your application. And like I said, if you've been out of school for a long time and in the workforce, you've gained a lot of maturity, and you feel as though you would be much better suited to university life now than you were when you were much younger, make sure you mention that in your statement of purpose. And a lot of times your experience can be very important in overcoming a low GPA.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I just was
Rebecca,
gonna
please
say,
go on.
Jenny hit that on the head. Sorry. Yeah, I would say another thing to do is for an undergraduate application, in your personal statement, if you feel that your grades, maybe they were a few years ago, or maybe, there was some sort of extenuating circumstance that contributed That's certainly something you can mention in your personal statement for us to consider. But as Jenny mentioned, it is a holistic review, but it would be more advantageous to have a higher GPA.
All right. So at this point, thank you so much. If we have any remarks to add up before we finish the session, we can all say something.
I have nothing to add.
Okay.
I enjoyed this immensely. It's always fun to be able to talk about your programs and your school, and it's a beautiful campus. It's a beautiful town. It has quite the culture scene. It's known throughout the country actually for its architecture and its music. And so I would encourage anyone to, if you're at all interested, to do a little more research, and feel free to reach out to myself. And I know Jenny and Margie feel the same way if you have further questions.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you to Education USA Ghana for having us today. And of course, any students who are interested in undergraduate programs, I've dropped my email in our chat. Oh, I accidentally sent it to right, not everyone. If we could post that on the Facebook Live, so people can have that as well. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me for any questions, and of course, explore our website to learn a little bit more. And thank you all for tuning in.
Yes, I will echo that. I love working with our brothers and sisters at Education USA, and we thank you very much for your support and your help in attracting and getting the students well educated on the U.S. education system. So we appreciate you always. And we look forward to hearing from students. I have also given my email, and so you can always contact our beautiful friends at Education USA, and they can give you our contact information as well, as contact information for many schools, as you can see behind Rafiatu, behind you, her. So again, we appreciate you very much, and we hope to see more Ghanaian students in the United States and at the University of Tulsa.
Thank you so much to our panelists. It's been a great session. I really enjoyed it. I wish we could go on and on and on and on. But for limitation of time, we would have to end the session here. So I would like to say a very big thank you, Dr. Brooker, Dr. Parker, Miss Margie. We are so grateful that you were able to make it. And to our cherished viewers, thank you so much for blocking this time to join today's information session. University of Tulsa is here for you. They have amazing programs. And please do not hesitate to reach out to any of them or get in touch with Education USA Ghana. Remember, Education USA have 2 centers in Ghana. We have one in Accra, to be precise, in the US Embassy, and the other in Kumasi. If you know AC Consult, which is at Asokwa, that is where our Kumasi center is, where Miss Margaret and Mrs. Owusu are the advisors. Please, if you have any unanswered questions, you can always reach out to us, or if you want the contact of University of Tulsa, we are forever ready to provide that to you or enable your application process. All right, so Education USA remains your #1 stop shop when it comes to US higher education. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Bye for now.
Bye, thank you.